Hello academics and welcome back to my channel. We are looking at Academiton and what we have done in the last episode. I'm actually very excited. It looks great. I think so, at least. It looks much more what I would consider realistic. There's a little bit of a low rent housing issue down here where the density massively drops just next to that highway, but I think overall it's not too bad. I could see that being absolutely the case, but then again, technically not a city planner. But for me, like I said, it kind of makes sense. It's looking a lot better, I want to say. So I think the next thing we really want to focus on while we're still building up before we're starting to build up some additional money, we finally are placing our recycling center. It has been in the making for quite a while, but we do technically need a loan for that. So how about we make a bit of a gamble? So we're still almost at the maximum over here. So what we're going to do for now is we're going to expand this zone as far as we possibly can to buy us a little bit more time. And that was only 50 tons extra, but I'm really hoping it works. Still these weird things that are just standing in here upright. Not entirely sure what they are, but would love to know. If any of you know, please leave a comment below and give me a shout so I understand as well. So I was thinking, in addition to finally solving our garbage crisis, so to speak, we want to work on some public transportation. With 15,000 inhabitants and it's slowly rising, I think it's time that we are thinking of putting in our first general way of getting around without all these cars. Look at where people are parking just in order to find any kind of parking spots. So that is something we could also focus on, but I do think if for now we just get rid of the amount of traffic on the roads, we'll be in a much better place. So with this kind of a city, I think the first transportation that would come in would be a bus line. And one of the reasons why I'm over here is I think this area right there is predestined to be a bus stop. Not a bus stop, obviously, but a bus depot area. And look at that, it immediately selected it, which I'm quite excited about. So what we're going to do is first we're going to make a little upgrade over here to this part of the road, which will then allow us to just make a right turn, a right angle turn, I should say, but a left turn into this area, and we're going to expand that part pretty far. We should turn everything off except for the 90-degree angle. And then we're going to expand it all the way out to here, which I think gives us enough spacing to the intersection from the highway that at some point we should probably also upgrade. But, you know, one thing at a time. So now we've put in this road, which gives us enough space to put in our bus depot. It is relatively close to the highway, but considering it's not a housing area, so to speak, I think that's actually not too bad of a place. But in order to make it seem a little bit more secluded, let's see if we can't use some of the trees to together with the line tool and see if we can't put a little area in there that separates out our bus depot from the highway a bit more. And I am realizing these trees are actually using quite a bit of space. Now this won't work because that first tree I had already placed So let's see how this is gonna look. And here we go. That can fit in just like that. Which, while not perfect, right, will at least give some sort of an idea of separation. And let's just continue a little bit around that corner here as well. And let's see how I can actually, or how I can try to match this close-ish. No real experience with the line tool yet, but that doesn't look too bad, to be honest. And then we're just going to branch around here, and all of a sudden this looks very much manicured, but I think I actually quite like it. Not a lot of separation, but a little bit. You can still kind of see the bus depot behind it, but I think overall it's not too bad. Could immediately go to electric buses. Considering our city is very green, let's actually give this a try. It is quite a bit of money per month, but I think I would like to see our city to remain greenish. So that cost us $2,000 per hour, which I think overall not too bad. So the next thing we should consider is an area where we can place a central bus station. And while it would be kind of sensible to have this somewhere in downtown, I think it would also be sensible to have it close by to our pedestrian area, which means this spot right here, again, very much predestined to be utilized for that specific purpose. So let's go ahead and at first just mellow out that area. And I think we are going to call a little mulligan, quickly pause on these buildings, remove those roads to then, again, just balance out the steepness of this entire area. Now this pathway, I think it makes sense if it's a little bit raised, so we're gonna leave it raised like this. And then we're gonna create a direct path into this area once we have placed our roads again. Because I do like the idea of having a little commercial or almost commercial-ish zone in this area that will actually provide access for our local housing, and will also provide additional shopping opportunities for people who are traveling with the bus. So I'm thinking like a quick stop or any kind of area that allows people to quickly grab a bite or do kind of like groceries in a sense, or almost in a sense. So as they are traveling to their destination, which might be home or somewhere else, they might ultimately end up with, or can save a little bit of time. Trying to expand this a little bit here, in the hope that once I put in a road over here, in that third zoning tile, the zoning will actually turn onto this road, which is what I'm really, really hoping for. So let's see how this turns out once I remove it. Now this panned out okay. This panned out okay as well. Now let me remove these. And that completely destroyed everything again. So let's place the road back in here. A little like shortcut, so to speak, and we're placing this in here again and then removing that road again, just so we can finally fill this up with some more commercial opportunities. And now I'm hoping I can remove this, which worked out just fine. and technically we could increase the size of the lots over here, but we're not actively doing this. All right, time for our bus depot. Now this, not depot, for a bus station. Now this is obviously way too big. So let's look into alternatives. That also is ginormous, which means we could put in a small bus station, which I think is technically a little bit too small for what I had in mind, at least. So instead, for now, we're going to remove these roads. And for now, we're also going to remove the bridge. Again, calling another mulligan. Kind of seems to be my new favorite word. Just to balance this out a bit more. In the hope that we'll end up with something a little bit more meaningful compared to what we had initially. Mellowing that drop off out a little bit. Now there's still seemingly a bit of texture or like height difference based on the snow, which overall, you know, is fine. And this is still way too big. Let's look at this. And I'm wondering why I see. It's just ever so slightly too big. Now what are we gonna do? Make this smaller again. Sorry everyone. I know I keep going back and forth with this. But I'm really hoping that this will ultimately help us. So what I am going to try now, even more controversial, I'm trying to focus a little bit of the zoning over here, fill that in with some commercial zones, and then let that fill in. Remove that path now. Nope. Now that was obviously not as intended. So let's put in a path here to destroy that area of the zoning. Put that path in here after all again. Now let's try this one more time, because we haven't tried this enough yet. Let's actually have two of them spawn in here, which I think looks good. And all of these are spawning in here, which is also great. And now we're just connecting this up. Okay, there we go. And connect this in here. This worked out pretty well, which I'm quite happy about. So let's hope that now this will still not fit, but lo and behold, we do have a bus station, a bus terminal that will actually fit in here. Reason why I want this to be a little bit bigger is it's not just, I don't just see it as the local bus station. I actually see it as the bus station that will also connect our city to the outside world, which will be ultimately good for us to have. So now here comes the next challenging part again. We need to put that connection back in. Well, I guess don't need to, but I think ultimately it makes a lot of sense to have that connection going back in. And I think that looks okay, I want to say. At first I wasn't entirely sure. I mean, this still goes very, very high. Still, I could imagine this being the case. I kind of would like to have this direct connection from here to that area back again, but I don't think we'll be able to get this unless we're bridging over here again, and I don't think that is very realistic. So what we're going to do instead is from here we're going to do a curve in this direction, and that is a bit too mellow, I want to say. So let's connect this up here, make that relatively sharp, and then we're just going to connect this up with our road right here. Okay, so all in all, I want to say not too bad. Not entirely sure where this road is supposed to go. I guess in theory, let's try to remove this and see if we can't put in a little stop over here. And we can. Now that looks a little bit funky. So pause, remove all the streets. Very realistic. Overshoot this a little bit and then connect this area back in. So every building is happy. Looks a little bit funky here now as well again. We do have kind of a connection, or we had a connection, but honestly I didn't really like it. So we are going to try to add this back in here. We're now connecting this up, and then we're taking a path from here, and of course it doesn't want to do this. So we're just gonna go like this, which ultimately I would see people just trampling over this area, creating a little bit of a shortcut. For our purposes, it will work. So now this part is kind of integrated, which is good, I want to say. And with this part, we do have a way to immediately go into our pedestrian zone. Now that area looks a little bit empty, so let's see what we can do about this. We do have a couple of parks, and obviously everybody likes a park. Could put in another dog park over here, or just a small park. Not entirely happy with the parks over here. I guess why not put in a round park over there? And then leave that area on the back for a little bit of general trees and well, that's way too big, obviously. Sort of separation from that area right here. Just a couple of pine trees and spruces. Gonna add a few more in here to make that area look also a little bit more foresty, I want to say. Probably not this one. It's a little bit too close to our overpass. So with that, I think that looks pretty decent, I want to say. So let's start putting in a couple of bus stops throughout the city. Now we already have a bus stop here. We're starting from over here, and obviously we do want a bus stop in our industry area. The way I see this, a bus could drive in here, go around that roundabout, get out here, turn over there, and have a bus stop in that middle of that what is like an office zone, where it can pick up people and drop off people, then drive back, come back into the city. And here I think a left-hand turn, no, I would probably suggest a right-hand turn going into this bus depot, then getting out here, heading over to the other side of that pedestrian zone. We're gonna create a bus stop on this corner right here, which will then allow us to take the bus around a bit closer into our industrial area, just over there. Head over this direction, create another bus stop, not quite directly next to our pedestrian zone, but a little bit further away. So there will be a little bit of a walk, but overall it won't be too bad. And we do want to create another bus stop just in front of the school. So while these bus stops are relatively close together, they serve different purposes. And because of that, I think we can reason why it should be that case. Then we're going to add another bus stop right here. And after this bus stop, the bus can head back into our industry area over there, and then turn around to get back into our general area. Now I do think for sanity, we're just gonna put them in both directions, which still a combined stop over here, meaning we could put a bus stop on this side, but I think it would be nice to have a bus stop over here on next to our hospital area. So imagine the bus driving in here, driving over there, and then stopping at the area behind the hospital, leaving the front open for all the ambulances. From there, the bus would basically go up here, and we will take a stop. How should we put this? Actually, I want the bus to, from here, take a left, turn, go across, and stop on the other side of the school. Same here, on the other side of that pedestrian area. And we are going to put that a little bit, no, let's keep it still a block away. Back into our industry zone, just over there. And then I think we are just following the putting stops on both sides as they need to go. Now, let's put in our route. So we said from this stop, we want to go over here and into this stop, continuing over there, putting a little path point in here, connecting to our school, to our pedestrian area 1, to our industry area, pedestrian area number 2, to our central bus station, and from there we are going to head out, take a little intermediate step here, back into our commercial zone, industry zone over here. All right, so we have a path that goes. Is this all the right direction? I think this is all the right direction. And I'm actually going to remove this bus stop because I think over here it is fine if we only have one bus stop. So this time we go from this stop over here we're going to head down this path right there, put in a waypoint just to make sure it is stopping at the right spot. Going to give it its own bus stop in there, continue back over here, have this stop first, back into our industry area, pedestrian zone, school zone, Central Park, And from there, we're heading back with another waypoint over here into this bus stop. All right. So with this, we have 2 bus lines in. Let's make sure they do have the same color, which is good. Let's just call this circular 1 and circular 2. And then we're also, like I mentioned, creating direct routes from our central bus station to the outside world. Now, let's see where the outside world is. We have one right here. So we're going there and back. And we had used the 3rd bus stop. Now this is another bus route. Then we're going from here. That is airplane. There's a path, or our road continues up here. Super weird intersection, no offense. Going over there, all the way over here. Wait, is this the only outside connection by road? No, here we go. Going out here. And coming back into number 4. So we have one here. There's none over there. What is that? Oh, there's another road that goes all the way to there. So we are going to connect up the last area to this point and back to our last bus stop place. All right, so we have this, we have this one, and we have this one. With this, I think we have the entire area connected, which will be great. Now let's go into our bus lines. Circular 1 and 2, it says 7 buses. It might be a bit more. Oh no, sorry, 7 stops. It doesn't say how many buses yet. So let's press start, give our connecting areas just different shades of red, just to make it even more confusing. Maybe we'll do it just like that. Dark red, light red, and more of an orangey, which will be intercity bus line 3. Oh, should write out intercity. Then we have intercity bus line 5 and intercity bus line 4. All right. So here we go. We've already spent a ton of money, which means we again won't be able to get to our recycling center this turn, and I've lost the city. Here we are. All right. Could really use an upgrade. They're backing up again and again. Trying to remember what I did in terms of sewage. Anyways, people are complaining, but we'll let them go. We do have our buses in now. We are spending a good amount of money at the moment compared to what we initially earned. What is the problem over here? No vehicles. So let's have a quick look at our bus lines. 5 of them. So for circular 1 and circular 2, it says 6 buses. That's a bit much. So we're gonna assign 4 for our circular traffic, and that is both of them, meaning we're going in circular 1, setting this to 4. Then we're going back to our intercity buses, and we are a small city. So for our intercity buses, let's say there are, the minimum is 4. Okay, so I guess 4 it is. 12. Why 12? Now that seems a bit excessive. I know that's a long distance, but 12 is a bit intense. 20, 10. All right, so in that case, how do we handle this? Let's see, we could immediately do an upgrade, but well, let's actually have a look. So, that's a lot of buses that are already driving around. 25 buses in use. What do you mean 25 buses in use? Four, 6, or 8. Okay, let's see. If this is 10, the next one was 12, so that's already 22. You know what? In this case, sorry, these 2 lines need to go. That just makes no sense. Which means now we should have enough buses going in both directions. I'm definitely reducing the ticket price to $2 for both circular rounds, because I want to have our citizens take the bus, and it should not cost $8 or 8 simoleon or whatever the number really is for them to just get to and from work. All right, but with this, we do have our bus system in place. There is traffic now over here. I guess it backed all up. Not entirely sure why. People are trying to merge into this off-ramp, which I guess we could consider upgrading. Wow, so many cars. I guess it is the end of the day. With the buses, and that does remind me, yep, that is the line that's still in place. So with the buses, we might actually be able to reduce the amount of traffic that comes in and goes out. But speaking of which, considering that use over there is so high, we're gonna go to our intercity line, reduce the price over here as well, and assign a couple more vehicles. 6 in total. All right. So with that, we spent this episode just creating some public transport. This will need to simulate a little while before we can see how things are going. I think next time we need to focus a little bit more on road maintenance. But let's actually have a quick look at our service. Roads is down to 50%. Let's put this up back to 100. Costs us a little bit of money. Doesn't look like it's costing us that much. And hopefully the amount of traffic accidents will be reduced, which will ultimately help us in the long run. Regardless, public transport in place, which is great for our citizens. They're all electric buses, which is in line with our vibe of trying to stay as green as we can. And like I mentioned, next time we will definitely need to look into our landfill to finally solve this problem. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment as well. Let me know what you would want to see, what you would want me to change. I'm all ears. And with that, please consider subscribing. It helps out a lot. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.